Up-and-coming city in the Pacific Northwest, Boise, Idaho, where the hometown Boise State Broncos, perennially one of the top teams in the Mountain West. They've won 9 in a row at home. On the flip side, Colorado State, led by Isaiah Stevens. He's an absolute show whenever he takes the court. It's the Broncos and the Rams coming up next. The state capital in the state of Idaho. We're in Boise at ExtraMile Arena. Colorado State and Boise State ready for another Mountain West showdown. And taking a look at the conference standings, Boise State right there in second place, one game back of first place San Diego State. Colorado State looking to make a move as the conference reaches its midpoint. Welcome courtside with Coach Bob Wenzel. Chris Lewis here with you. So you saw it right there, the team starting to establish positioning as the Mountain West reaches its midpoint.
Boise State's in great shape. They're 6-2 on the year. The 2 losses were by 2 points and by 2 points on the road. So they are really in good shape. They're playing very well right now.
Well, Boise State is the defending Mountain West champions, and they do it in a way that they did it last year, balanced scoring.
Classic Leon Rice coaching. All 5 guys are almost in double figures. Degenhardt, power forward, inside, outside. Big shot shaver. He deserves that moniker. A coach's son. What do you expect? 3-point shooting. Abo, power forward to take it to the basket. And Najee Smith will run right at you.
That's a lot to throw at you. On the side of Colorado State, their fans have been through a lot over the last couple of weeks. Seems like every game is right down to the wire.
Persistence is a virtue, my friend, and they have to have it with what they've been going through. January 10th, embarrassing loss in overtime, Air Force. Spectacular win on the road, Isaiah Stevens becomes a star. Heartbreaking San Diego State at home, that would have gotten them going. They lost on the road to Wyoming in the border war.
You think they're ready for basketball here at the ExtraMile Arena? Set to go. Colorado State, Boise State. Should be a good one coming up next. The Corral at ExtraMile Arena is ready to go. Teams set to go. Colorado State and Boise State here in the Mountain West. That's Nico Medved, who says his team is battling game after game. We mentioned their close games that they've had the last couple of weeks. His team has battled injuries as well throughout the year. So this is the lineup for Colorado State. Isaiah Stevens, the headliner. He just became Colorado State's all-time leader in assists. On the Boise State side of things, Tyson Degenhardt, Marcus Shaver, Max Rice. Really the big 3 that lead the way. Speaking of Rice, there's Max's dad, Leon Rice, the head coach for Boise State. 2-time Mountain West Coach of the Year.
13 years, does an excellent, excellent job. Not as athletic as they were last year when they won the regular season and the conference tournament and went to the NCAA. Isaiah Stevens with the basketball has got to be one of my favorite players all time.
Colorado State gains first possession.
Boise is noted for their very, very tough man-to-man defense. Shaver has the assignment of guarding Stevens. Stay home, Marcus. Don't help.
Rivera double teamed up with it anyway. Smith pulls it down.
Najee Smith is a guy on this team that doesn't get a lot of credit, but man, he does all the dirty work.
Tyson Degenhardt, team's leading scorer, just over 14 points per game, sets the screen for Shaver. He likes that left block. Up top, Max Rice lines it up.
What patience! That is beautiful basketball. And Rice, of course, shoots 43% from downtown, and he's only missed 3 foul shots on the year so far.
He's really broken out. Last 7 games, he's shooting 56% from 3.
Shaver's got a tough job here on Stevens, and his ankle is not 100%.
J. pulls the string, and Shaver, one of the best rebounding guards in the country.
Averages 6.5. That's more than you did when you were in Philly.
Yeah, no doubt. I was trying to avoid getting close to the basket.
I saw you working on your jumper the other day. Not bad.
Yeah, staying outside.
You need to follow through a little bit more, but other than that, pretty good.
Degenhart on the pick and pop. Great rotation.
Did we say this is a home game? He touched all part of that iron.
He shot 43% from 3 last year, Tyson Degenhart, down to 31% this year, but he said, hey, it's coming, I know it. Confidence hasn't dropped. Stevens always confident, in and out. Cartier the O-board, and Patrick Cartier sticks it back. Meanwhile, a whistle on the far side of the floor, and Shaver, who's been battling injuries throughout the year, down for Boise State.
Take a look at it. Looks like a shoulder to the face. Cartier setting the screen. They're going to take a look at this, see if it's a flagrant. You know, you talk about Shaver and his injuries this year. You know, he missed a bunch of games early, and then he's been playing at less than 100% for sure. You can see on his left calf he's got that taped. He has a career of making shots in the end game situations that win game for his team.
Good to see him getting up. You mentioned his tendency to hit big shots. 4 game winners last year in the last 30 seconds. 1 this year against San Jose State here in Boise.
I had one of those games at San Diego State, and you know, you make a 3 at the end against the best defensive team maybe in the country. Jace Whiting in the game. We had the game with the UNLV, and he came into the game and was fantastic.
10
no
points.
fear. Yeah, 10 points. No fear at all.
So no call on that screen that was set as Shaver goes into the back.
Good D. Shot clock.
Whiting sees it. Boise State has to hurry. Rice for Smith. High-rise 3. It's another long ball for Boise State.
You got to be kidding me. Whiting has very quick feet, and he's going to need it against Stevens. Cartier can score on anyone inside. Number 12, Division II transfer.
Scored 1,600 points at the Division II level, and he has the first 2 field goals for Colorado State.
And he's shooting 64% from the field in Division I. Pretty good.
Knows how to score. That's been the theme for Colorado State this season. They know how to score. Question is, can they get stops?
Yeah, they shoot 49% from the field. Very, very efficient. Nico Medved's team always have been that way.
Haba into the lane for Degenhart. So the Texas Tech transfer, a playmaker there. And Degenhart has a quick 5.
Abo in a game recently had an opportunity for 2 4-point plays in like 10 seconds. And unfortunately, he missed one of the free throws.
Good matchup here, Cartier and Degenhart.
Yeah, this is a problem for Boise because, you know, Degenhart is so valuable, and usually he's guarding a center. He's quicker than the guy. It's going to be tough for him against Cartier, and you don't want him in foul trouble. That's for certain.
Boise State hasn't missed yet. A perfect 4 for 4. Great pass off the baseline. Degenhart for Smith. Boise State's offense clicking. Rivera backdoor, the up and under.
Full court pressure, 2-2-1 variety. Try to get a trap at the 10-second line, and then maybe back into man-to-man. This is unusual for Colorado State. This is something pretty new.
Saw them working at this at shoot-around this morning, deploying a press early in the game. Jace Whiting attacks it, can't finish. Boise State's first miss, Cartier pulls it down.
You know, Boise's last game against Fresno was not what they wanted.
Rivera reverse. And gets the spin off the rim. Back-to-back for Isaiah Rivera.
Sometimes the defense may not work in terms of getting misses or turnovers, but it increases your energy at the offensive end. And we've seen that right here. They're playing really, really quick.
Hagen Hart tries to tiptoe the baseline, can't save it. Colorado State possession.
Najee Smith, Mr. High Energy for the Broncos. Knocks one in from deep. And how about this? Nice little cute pass. And flush it, baby!
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Marco's. Pizza lovers get it. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
And what turned out to be a Moby Arena farewell for David Roddy, as Colorado State beat Boise State for the second time last season. The only team in the Mountain West to sweep Boise State. All right, Coach, let's get to your keys to the game.
Well, Colorado State's got to play even on the boards, and Stevens' brilliance should be able to carry them if he's on. No sloppy turnovers. That's a formula for upsets if you're Boise. And the balanced scoring, which is a key and a ever-present thing with Leon Rice, has to be there, and I'm sure it will be.
Well, one thing that can help avoid turnovers is having your lead guard. It's like Marcus Shaver back after being down a bit earlier in this game. Najee Smith, good start for him, 5 points, averages about 10 a game.
Yeah, he's really a glue guy. Got to keep an eye on Whiting, number 15 right here. High energy guy. Hasn't played a lot this year. When he gets his opportunity, he plays with lots of energy. You don't want this long term if you're Leon Rice, though.
Foul on Whiting there.
Shaver back in. We love this. Glad that he is not injured. So now you have 2 point guards in the game. Najee taking a little rest.
Backdoor Rivera gets a layup up and in. So Colorado State, after a slow start, within 3. Rivera, strong start with 6. Burke Smith into the game for Boise State. A little used forward off the Bronco bench. We haven't seen Lucas Milner yet, who's usually the first big that comes in for Coach Leon Rice.
That's surprising. Clear out.
And here is Smith. Big lumbering steps and a foul.
Colorado State has used this play 4 or 5 times, and we saw them working on it this morning. The center pops out, clears the basket area, and they've got 3 backdoor plays. Really, really nice passing by Moores right there. New Zealand guy. I'm going to go to New Zealand sometime soon.
You mentioned that last game, too. It's still on your bucket list. You didn't go in the week and a half.
No. How about those numbers for Marcus Shaver? You know, he is such a good player. And the 6.5 rebounds for a guy his size is amazing. The ball moves side to side, and that makes the defense very, very vulnerable. Max Rice, not only a 3-point shooter, guy makes good decisions.
Continues his hot scoring over the last 7 games. Morris cut off. Kobe Young defending. Morris size advantage. The New Zealand product tries a scoop. Knocked away out of bounds. We'll stay with Colorado State.
Max Rice coming into your living room. Hide the popcorn, man. He might take that, too. He has developed so much. And, you know, it's very difficult to coach your own son. And there have been a lot of guys who have done it, obviously. And I think Leon talked to several guys who have been in that same seat. And of course his other son, Cade, the younger one, is on the team now also.
Funny, the feedback he got is, you know, all the negatives that come with it, but you got to do it. That's what all those coaches said. It's an unforgettable experience. James Moores providing a factor for Colorado State off the bench.
Despite their record, Colorado State obviously has played a lot of teams very closely. Tavion Jackson in right now, number 2, freshman guard. Quick, moves Stevens to the 2 spot.
Joe Palmer, another reserve in for the Rams. Off the tip, Chamber for 3, wide, and there's Palmer. He does everything off the Ram bench. Steps into a transition 3. Too strong. But Tavion Jackson there for the board. Moores gets a step on Smith. So the backup bigs going head to head in the city of trees. Boise, Idaho. Colorado State's looking to end a 2-game losing skid. The Broncos have won 6 of their past 7. Boise State 15, Colorado State 12. Early going. Mountain West matchup. Boise State, they do it defensively. It's why they're right now second in the league. They are atop the conference, scoring defense, field goal percentage defense.
Yeah, and right there is Mike Burns, who is the architect of the defenses. At least when we come to all of the practices, he's out there doing the details, and as you would expect, very verbal, very tough. He does a terrific job with their defense.
You mentioned how Boise State, their staff is divided, and Burns being the defensive coordinator, Tim Dorier being the offensive coordinator. It's like a football staff.
Yeah. And of course, Leon Rice has a football background, Washington State, right?
James Moores, first of 2 free throws.
This is a very good start for Colorado State, to be right in the game after Boise jumped on them right at the beginning, making those 3 threes. They have not lost their intensity through this losing streak. They have not lost their focus through the losing streak.
We were talking to Nico Medved before the game, and he's as encouraged as you can be for a team that's dropped 3 of their last 4, all close games. He said his team just keeps fighting.
Yeah, it's great to see, really. Life lessons for these guys. Things don't always go your way, and you stick with things. Persistence, omnipotent.
Rice off the screen, that low release on him for it doesn't matter.
That ball was so high he killed a pigeon in the air.
Got the ball boys over there wiping it up on that side of the court. Isaiah Stevens, a sharpshooter, short on that one. Whistle on the rebound. Loose ball foul called on Colorado State.
Take a look at this. Thinks about it, decides to go. Perfect rotation. 42% from 3. He takes plenty of them. Isaiah Stevens has been absent from the scoring so far, 0 for 2. And that's a good sign in a way, because Colorado State is hanging tough with him not being a big part of the offense so far. 2-2-1. It hasn't caused any turnovers, but I think it's increased their energy level.
Colorado State had turnover problems of their own in the first half against Wyoming in their most recent game. They're coming off the midweek bye. Burke Smith for 3, no. And Baylor Head, another reserve for Colorado State, secures the rebound.
Frequent substitutions early by both coaches. That's usually a sign they think things are going to be tough down the stretch.
It was touched on the cylinder, so basket interference, a goaltend on Smith.
What are we watching, the Princeton offense here? I mean, backdoor. Centers as passers. We have seen both centers make beautiful passes to guys cutting to the basket, and those are easy shots.
Degenhardt back in at that center spot. Rice looks off and then looks at the baskets.
See how he held his hands out like Michael Jordan. I say, what the heck, you know? I mean, I'll take a 2 once in a while.
First player to double figures. He already has 10 points for Boise State.
To stop those back doors, you have to play between your man and the basket. You can't deny, because when you deny, you're in the passing lane and your guy can cut to the hoop. The other thing you can do against that is pressure the passer more.
3 seconds in the lane. A lot of pivoting for Lake, but couldn't escape the non-painted paint in Boise. Both teams usually take care of the ball well. It's only the second turnover combined between the teams.
Oddly enough, Najee Smith is doing most of the handling against the press, taking it across half court. You would think Shaver would do that.
Chibuzo Abo, long on the 3. Cartier, right place, right time for Colorado State on the rebound. Transition whistle. Stay with Colorado State. Marcus Shaver Jr. on the foul, his first. Mentioned right there, that last rebound by Cartier as Kobe Young comes in for Boise State. Cartier does a lot well. You talked about his field goal percentage, his scoring at both the D2 level and here at Division I. Rebounding has been a point of emphasis for him as he averages less than 3 boards per game. And speaking of tough to get a rebound, it's off the fingertips of Boise State. Stays here.
I think his transition from Division II to I offensively has been fine, obviously, as you're noting here. But, you know, he doesn't have the quicks. He doesn't have the hops. And he's not used to playing against a bunch of guys that are like that in the game at the same time.
It's a beautiful reverse by John Tonje, the senior from Omaha. And Colorado State back within 4. Stevens, so crafty in the backcourt, getting his hands on passes. Gets the steal. Tonje again. Highlight reverse, oh my. The Colorado State press that they worked on at shoot around this morning forces a steal. Tonje pulls Colorado State within 2 on the road.
Colorado State only down 2. Last couple of minutes, they're getting very, very aggressive. And right here, Tonje, power to the basket, uses the glass to soften the shot. And how about this steal right here by Isaiah? Very, very clever player, and Tonje is the beneficiary of that. A circus layup there. You know, he was, last year Tonje, you know, was a good player for them, but so much attention was paid to Rivera and David Roddy, who's now in the NBA with Memphis, that he was open a lot. And this year, not so much, because he's the second leading scorer on the team. So he's getting much better defensive attention than he did last year.
Taking advantage of it. And all set up by that Stevens steal.
So far, we're seeing 3s versus 2s in this game. Guys in the white jerseys taking a lot of 3s as Degenhart takes it inside. Not much outside shooting for Colorado State so far.
Still looking for their first made 3.
Note this well, Isaiah Stevens is on the bench.
Degenhart intercepts. Shaver eyes up. Smith tries the post up. Degenhart goes opposite. Abo, corner 3, cooking.
He shoots 44% from 3-point range. Transfer from Texas Tech. Rivera was not close enough.
So after Colorado State cut it to a couple, Boise State goes on a run. 3s versus 2s. Right now, 3s winning. Boise State by 7 at home, but Colorado State is back same time next Saturday as they face an old foe, the Utah State Aggies. The action tips off 8 Eastern here on CBS Sports Network. Mountain West, another banner year. after getting 4 teams to the NCAA tournament last season. They have 5 teams in the top 40 of the net rankings this season. 9 teams with a record of 500 or better. And if you go by net rankings, it is the best conference out west.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And the bottom teams have gotten better, and that improves your net very, very much. And the fact that New Mexico is back and being ranked, you see Isaiah is on the bench. He's 0 for 4 in this game so far. That will not last long, I guarantee you.
We've seen him take over games at the drop of a hat, so right there with you on that one. Entry pass, a step in front of Cartier. Colorado State turnover.
Well, Isaiah's been on the bench for a couple of possessions. The score, remember what it was? 18-20 when he went out. Now it's 25-18.
Imagine as a coach, it's the hardest thing, right, to sit the top player for any amount of time. You're always, part of you just wants to lean over and say, hey, buddy, get back in there.
That's right.
Degenhart fronted, catches anyway, goes reverse.
He is such an intelligent player. As you mentioned, he was the Mountain West Freshman of the Year last year. He could be the Sophomore of the Year, not that they give that award, but he's 6'7" and he's playing center.
Tonje might have been bumped, no foul, and Degenhart right there for the board. Shaver, outlet, Smith, flies through.
What a pass by Shaver.
Nothing run for Boise State.
They seem to have solved the backdoor problem on the defensive end.
Rivera, that one's off. Tavy Jackson, the freshman skies, gets it back again, loses it, but it stays with the Rams.
Take a look at this pass from the backcourt to the front court by Shaver. That is a thing of beauty. And Najee Smith, I tell you, man, he runs the floor. You'll look around and, you know, all of a sudden he's got 10 points and you didn't even know he was in the game. You know, a tip in here, a run out there, a jumper once in a while.
Foul called on the inbounds. It's Tyson Degenhart. First foul on Degenhart.
He plays physically, there's no doubt about it. But this is a tough matchup. Cartier scores on anybody.
And flicks it towards the rim off back iron.
Great tee. He thought he got fouled. I think he might be right.
Battle in the post. Abo goes up to catch. And there's a foul. Tonje coming from the weak side to help. And he could be the guilty party. He is.
It's so interesting to watch Shaver play. Because of his injuries, you know, he's not 100%. So he takes the role of a facilitator and a passer. You know, before, when he's 100% healthy, I mean, he is like lightning going to the basket and driving and kicking and dishing on his way in. Instead, he kind of hangs out on the perimeter, helps other guys get involved. Really, it's a sign of maturity on him. Now, he's a fifth-year guy, and so is Najee. So they've got a bunch of experience on this team as well.
James Moore's back in, but back to Shaver. You mentioned how experienced he is, third year at Boise State after a couple at Portland, but this year was sort of a transition for him, taking over more traditional point guard responsibilities. Emmanuel Akot was a nominal point guard last year for Boise State.
Yeah, he was 6'8". Smith loose. Nice ball fake.
And Stevens is hacked. Reaching by Shaver, and it's his second.
Great first step by Stevens. He is a hard guy to guard. Take a look at this ball movement. He fakes one way and then gets by. Two guys fouled him, really.
They called that on Shaver. It looked like they're on that reach. That could have been Degenhart. Rivera off the inbounds, and Rice there for the board.
Well, as I mentioned before, Degenhart must stay out of foul trouble. It's vital.
Rice hounded by Tonje. Whiting back at the point guard spot. Shaver on the bench with those two fouls. Abo has such a high release.
Oh, man. What a big addition he has been to this team.
14 straight for Boise State over the last 3 minutes.
Defense, their calling card.
Tanjay to end the run. No, in and out. Abo pulls it down. Rocco's in transition.
Stevens wants to steal. Rice better be careful here.
In a bad part of town, it calls timeouts. Saw green bodies everywhere, but it's all Boise State. They've scored 14 straight. This game was 20-18 at one point. Isaiah Stevens then went to the bench, and since then, Boise State has erupted.
But he came back, and the defense is rearing its ugly head, as they say.
Haven't scored in the last 4 minutes for a team in Colorado State. Nico Medved, such a good offensive coach. Foul before the ball inbounded. Abo trying to go off a screen. Jalen Lake gets called.
That's his first, the fourth team.
Interesting, you don't see too many calls like this, and we've had one at either end where it's a foul on an inbounds play, and of course there's a foul that was totally unnecessary.
You said it earlier, Abo had a couple of 4-point plays, or at least opportunities against UNLV. He couldn't convert the second one.
And he did it within like 15 seconds. There we go. I mean, that's a foul, obviously. And Abo is a guy who sort of just blends in, and he does it as a star. You know, when they needed it most, he can deliver. And his 3-point percentage is great. His free throws are great. His percentage from the field is great. And he plays good defense. What more do you want?
Sounds like a complete player to me.
Yeah.
They go to the monitor to take a look at whether he had his foot on the line. They say no, it was behind it. So 3 free throws for the Texas Tech transfer, Chibuzo Abo.
As I have taught you, a person's average is not a predictor of his future. Yeah, but still 77%.
I like the alliteration. Percentages are predictive. That's what you taught me. I'm learning from Coach.
There you go. Which you knew already, but when you rolled your eyes, I figured you knew that already.
Well, 3 for 3 on that trip. And Boise State continues to pour it on. 17 in a row.
I'm wondering whether Isaiah Stevens is worn out from all the carrying of this team that he's been doing. And he's trying to do it now on his own, clearly.
Draws the foul on Whiting. He's a player that has the capability to take over a game. We're talking about an 18.5 point per game scorer, also top of the conference in assists.
School's leading assist guy career and 4th leading scorer career. And a gentleman as well.
He said after the game against Wyoming, where he set the assist record, top achievement in his career. 1 of 2 on the free throws for Stevens. That ends a 17-0 run. Pick and roll with Smith rolling, gets fouled en route to the hoop. Whiting set him up, and Najee Smith will strut to the strike. Second foul on Joe Palmer.
That's his second.
Beautiful play right here. A lot of green shirts around, but the ability to jump over people is there for Najee.
Coach Leon Rice mentioned about Najee Smith, how last year he provided that energy off the bench. He wanted to have him in that same role this year, just the way the roster was constructed after a couple of games just didn't work out. Wanted him in the starting lineup. And he's provided that boost.
And you look at what their record was when he was in games last year. Pretty strong, right? The guy's a winner.
Close to 5 minutes without a field goal for Colorado State. Lake tries to end it. Rainbow three, strong. Bravo rebounds.
Whoa! I like that one.
Smith stumbles, regathers. Rice baseline floater. And Palmer brings it in.
Tough shot.
Smith fouled again. If it's Whiting, it would be foul number 3. We'll check on that when we return. Isaiah Stevens has some work to do as Boise State leads by 20. Coming up, it's AT&T at the half. Brent Stover, Chris Walker, John Rothstein, Seth Davis standing by in our studio. 7 top 25 teams lost by 7 Eastern time today, so they have a lot to talk about. Colorado State, not much to talk about with Isaiah Stevens in this game.
0 for 4 so far, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. They are all over him, and without him, things are going to be tough. Balanced scoring, of course, right here. We're going to show you some highlights. But I can also tell you this, Degenhardt has 9, Smith has 9, Abo has 11, and Rice has 10. That is the formula for success on offense for Boise. And this is this season. You can see their numbers per game and what they're doing tonight. Marcus Shaver scoring 0 points is highly unusual, but we talked about how because of his injuries, he is playing a much more conservative role at the offensive end and trying to be a distributor and a passer and not a scorer.
You saw on the screen the 5 players. That is the starting 5 for Boise State. They make up over 83% of their points throughout the year. So they are a starters-driven offense. Jace Whiting, one of those players off the bench. Broncos can get some production off the bench.
I'm surprised Lucas Milner hasn't been in the game. He's played well the times I've seen him play this year, and 5 or 6 minutes here and there.
Smith, late shot clock at 3, bangs it to Cartier. Well positioned, Patrick Cartier, offensive foul.
That's what Cartier has to do. I mean, when he comes from Division II to Division I, you know, everything happens faster, so decisions happen faster. So a guy like him, who's not glued to the floor by any stretch, but he's got to be a position defender near the basket. Leave his man, go over and take charges just like he did there. Because he is physically very, very strong. And he has good footwork, as he's demonstrated at the offensive end as well.
Feels like a big 3 minutes here for Colorado State to make it a little closer before halftime.
Right, you're right. Whiting plays with great speed and intensity. He is all over Isaiah Stevens.
Irv Smith back in for Boise State, and he commits the foul as Cartier will head to the free throw line.
I don't think the crowd likes that call. Backdoor cut, beautiful bounce pass, nice hands.
Friendly roll for Cartier.
Yep, 64% from the field. Tops in the Mountain West. One of the tops in the country.
1 of 2 on that trip. He did not begin the season as a starter. James Moores was the starting center. Boise State has to hurry here. It's tipped. The shot clock's at 20, which means it's a 10-second violation. Indeed, it is. Colorado State's press forces a turnover once again.
That was a different press that time, Chris. Before it was 2-2-1. That one was 1-2-1-1. So there's a point. There's a guy on the point of it. It's a much more aggressive kind of press. Niko Medved wasn't born yesterday. I mean, you know, he's trying everything. This is where they need to go.
Cartier draws the double. Lake pivots, fades, and buries it. Jalen Lake, sophomore out of Dallas, first field goal.
Back to the 2-2-1 on made field goals.
Get it across half court this time.
You know, when you're a freshman, high intensity stuff.
Degenhart rips a pass. Whiting tiptoes. Doubled. Rivera reaches and pokes it out of bounds.
They got lucky there, but there's still 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Lake, nice pivot. Rice did not get his hand up in time. Easy one.
Just 3 to shoot it. Rice has that quick trigger from the elbow. Bricks it.
Well, they got the right guy shooting it, that's for sure. Cartier has got to be the main threat here.
Stevens curls, glides, and banks it home. It's a pretty move from Isaiah Stevens. First field goal for a player who puts up over 18 a game.
Degenhart is helping handle here, and I'm not quite sure why that is.
That press for Colorado State. Remember, Boise State had a season high 19 turnovers against Fresno State in their press last game. Avo knocks it down. Big three ends a 7-0 run.
That can cure a lot of ills, I'll tell you that. He has been hot.
Cartier's been the feature player late in the half for Colorado State.
And you mentioned it with 3 minutes to go. I mean, they're on a little run here.
Again, there's a little awkwardness in the backcourt for Boise State dealing with the press. And throw it away, and Lake gets fouled by Whiting.
They handled the press better earlier in the game. Nico Medved said, okay, let's don't play soft here. Let's get aggressive on the ball handlers. This is not what you want. You want a man in the middle. You don't pick up your dribble across the 10-second line. That was a good foul right there. That would have been a layup dunk.
Rice with the turnover there. Now, Max Rice has 7 turnovers against Fresno State. After the game, he said, was watching a little bit too much Patrick Mahomes over the weekend. Got a little loose throwing the football all around. Said he'd correct that heading into this, but a big turnover there. Jalen Lake misses the first.
That's fortunate for them. They did not handle the press in the last 3 minutes here very well at all. And of course, they don't have Shaver in the game, which is a key component of that.
2 fouls early on for Shaver. That last foul on Whiting was his 3rd. Lake does convert 1 of 2.
Reverse the ball. You dribble and pick up your dribble across the 10-second line. That's exactly what the defense wants to do. We got some zone here.
Just 4 seconds. Degenhart examines. Float game strong.
That's twice that Degenhart has hit every part of the circumference of the rim. Watch how he pulls up here to avoid the charge. That's the key thing, and that's a left-handed, his offhand, and he makes it. What a play.
Colorado State scratched and clawed, trying to get back in it. Degenhart floater makes it a 15-point game at the half. Coming up, AT&T at the half. The babies are having a great time in Boise. Watching Boise State take a 15-point lead on Colorado State at the half. Let's take a look at the game summary brought to you by AT&T 5G. With Boise State's shooting the lights out, 71% shooting. Colorado State still looking for their first 3 in this game.
Yeah, you look at those first 3 lines, 71, 70, and 7 for 7 is awesome. And that kind of offensive production is going to win you a lot of games.
That's Coach Bob Wenzel. My name is Chris Lewis. All right, so for Colorado State, we headline Isaiah Stevens coming into the game. He could take over a game at a moment's notice, but a slow start to this one.
Really, and he was 0 for 4, and then he got going, and he scored from the free throw line. I think he's been carrying the team so much through these close games that they've had. I don't think he's tired, but I think it's wearing on him a little bit.
Boise State, balance is the theme of their game.
Yeah, balanced scoring is the name of the game for them. These are good examples of different guys getting threes, getting the ball inside to their best interior player, finding each other on the perimeter. I mean, it's really been great. 11, 9, 14, and 10 for the top 4 players of Boise State. And there you see Isaiah, 5, and he's averaging 18. It's totally conceivable he could get to 18. Shaver is back in the game. The reason that Leon didn't put him back in the game when they were struggling against the press was he had 2 fouls. How about that to start the second half? Degenhart now is 6 for 6 from the field.
He ended the first half with a floater, begins the second half with a reverse layup. John Tonje lines it up. He's short. Degenhart first to touch it. Skying Rivera. Tip to the sideline. It'll belong to Boise State.
I mean, you talk about Degenhart. You know, a player he had 28 at New Mexico, and they lost in overtime. And one of the players on New Mexico, when he was interviewed after the game, he said, he had 28? Couldn't believe it. Silent but deadly.
And now the biggest compliment for Degenhart might be from the other coaches throughout the Mountain West, almost to a T. They all say, hey, Degenhart, that guy's a winner. Yeah. That's always the first word that comes out.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Jalen Lake hits Colorado State's first 3 of the game. It comes in the second half.
Watch how Shaver's coming down the floor here. I mean, usually he's shaking and baking and going by people. He's just kind of gliding around and content to get the ball to the right guys, and he can do that too.
Smith, the right guy there, doesn't pay it off. Jalen Lake lassos in the rebound.
Smith had to switch. He's guarding Cartier, which is a mismatch in favor of Colorado State. They switch back now. Degenhart has him.
Tonje pivots, spins, and scores.
You know, Colorado State has scored several buckets like that where they're taking the ball to the basket, but the help comes and they stop and then reverse pivot. They made a couple of shots like that. That's a smart thing to do.
Is that a drill you could work on?
Like
a shooting drill?
Absolutely. 3 misses, 2 threes, and an inside one right here.
The all-time leader in assists for Colorado State with that excellent pass. Still results in a turnover. Smith is swatted by Rivera, and they're going to say count the basket. That's goaltending. And a foul down low.
Wow. In college basketball, once the ball touches the backboard, you cannot touch it, even if it's below the rim. And right here, see, he doesn't really have control of this thing, and it's a weak shot. Interesting call. I really like Najee Smith's game, and he really, you know, when you talk about garbage men, that's a compliment in basketball, right? And he does so many. He'll run the floor and get layups like he did on that particular play. He'll have a tip in on an offensive rebound. 9.6 points. He's got 11 already tonight. I mean, he really does a lot of great stuff out there, winning kind of plays.
So garbage man is a compliment, but your garbage man is not?
He is too.
Okay. Najee Smith, certainly not a garbage.
That's waste management. So look at Abo here, man. Long, quick, smart.
Rivera gets the roll. Rivera, Jalen Lake, John Tonje, the others for Colorado State involved in the second half.
Yep. And you know, keeping the Cartier at the top of the key, clears the basket for back doors early, and now for drives. Oh. He reminds me of Drew Timme a little bit with his footwork, and he's from that area.
Yeah, he's from SoCan.
Probably went to camp at Gonzaga.
Of course, his head coach Leon Rice, former 11-year assistant at Gonzaga. Tanjay elevation and banks it off the backboard. Good pace to this start of the second half.
Yeah, Colorado State, you know, they are not a team that's going to give up any time. And this is a great start for them. They're playing a little zone here. Conserves their energy a bit.
Smith tips it. Or I think that's Stevens who tips it. From Stevens.
He's going here.
Stevens off glass.
Time for a timeout. 9-point game. It was 20-1 juncture. Coach Rice making them play through it. See, Shaver's hesitant. Rice is not hesitant.
Sidestep three, halfway down. Cartier rebounds, and a chance for Colorado State to blow within single digits. For the first time since that 17-0 Boise State run in the first half.
Look at the basket area. Nobody is in there. And that's why you can drive in there.
Lake wants three. Give him three. Colorado State within 8.
Number 15, Jalen Lake.
Zone defense keeping Boise State on the outside. Abo flicks a three short. Tanjay does secure the rebound, and Colorado State, they made their last 6 shots.
Heck of a turn of events. Make that 7, Bill.
Just shorts. Rivera tips it. Here's Rice. Steps into a three. Way off. You can see as soon as it left his hands.
Stevens can go here, it's clear.
They have been the comeback Rams throughout the season. Isaiah Stevens is a marksman in the mid-range.
7 out of 8 possessions scoring.
Colorado State has come down from 10 to win a couple of games this season. In this one, they were down as many as 20, but you look up, it's just a 6-point game.
Stevens, 7 out of 8 possessions. The ball went through the net. 51-45.
All of us at CBS Sports mourning the loss of our longtime colleague and stalwart in sports broadcasting, Billy Packer. Analyst on every NCAA men's Final Four from 1975 to 2008. Packer delivered his astute observations, colorful commentary to a generation of fans. Packer spent 27 of those years with CBS Sports, where he entertained, informed, and sometimes incensed, but always respected the game. And as we pay our respects to Billy Packer, we send our deepest condolences to his family. Billy Packer died Thursday at age 82. ExtraMile Arena in Boise, spot that's hosted the NCAA tournament, first and second rounds a number of times. Colorado State has climbed back into this game after being down as many as 20, now within 6. They've scored the game's last 9.
7 out of 9 in the second half.
Marcus Shaver Jr. ends the run.
Thank you to Marcus Shaver for Boise fans. I think the zone defense that Nico has put out there has really been extremely effective. It has taken the rhythm away from the Broncos.
Joe Palmer in for Colorado State, as well as James Moores at center.
Moores is a passer.
Clock down to 4. Rice hounding Palmer. Palmer off balance. Shaver secures. Smith, Euro step pass with a scoop. Nearly a steal.
That's what Smith can do to you. Run the floor.
Sanjay. Rice there.
Little role reversal. Degenhart challenging the three and Rice getting the rebound.
Bravo cutting while Shaver thought he'd be spotted up in the corner. After a 9-0 run for Colorado State, Boise State with a couple in a row. Najee Smith, how about that scoop to the hoop? His team up 11. Tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, watch the competition heat up as the world's best bull riders go head-to-head at the ZipRecruiter Invitational. It's time now for us to unleash our beast, Coach. There's our beast. Coach Wenzel on that beast.
Yeah, and that was Brian Sealing, our producer, trying to tell people I was full of bull.
Not quite.
Colorado State, they have Rams. And they have been electric in the second half. Sanjay taking the ball in. The defense was not there for the Broncos, and Isaiah Stevens and company took advantage. Going the first part of this half, shooting 71%. And Nico Medved's use of the zone has been very, very good. You can see their numbers on the year. They are very, very efficient on offense typically.
Have you ever been bull riding?
No. Have you?
No. I mean, a mechanical bull once at a fair, but didn't last very long on that. Not at all.
I'd like to watch it, though. It's very cool.
You can film it.
Those guys are tough.
Make sure you don't miss that record button because it wouldn't last long. Steven whips a pass. Morris finishes with contact. How about that out of a stop action for Colorado State?
And the foul, Broncos, number 12, Max Rice.
Rice called for the foul.
His first personal foul, the first team.
Off the pass.
One shot coming from
When he gets the ball close to the basket, he's got good hands. He's not typically a guy that's going to score when there's a man between him and the basket, but on the roll, gets a good pass, he can finish. But that would make me dizzy right there.
That is a lot. The basket, though, is not moving. Everything else is, so you can locate it. Three-point play completed. And, again, Colorado State, remember, they were down 20 in the first half of this game. Coach Nico Medved said his team just keeps on fighting. They've shown that spirit here tonight.
No doubt about it. 44-29 at halftime. Complete reversal. This zone is confusing them. You got to get into the gap if you're going to use the dribble. He does a lot of stuff, does he?
Mr. Do Something. Palmer's rejected by Shaver. Regathers. There's Degenhart taking a charge again.
I'm not sure if he leads the league in charges taken, but he certainly gets several a game. That's inexperience by Palmer. I mean, he gets his shot blocked, and it hurt his ego, so he went after it.
Palmer, a Division III transfer.
You know, typically we think of the portals and their Division I guys transferring, but there's 2 and 3s also. Look at this.
Halfway down, maybe 3/4 of the way down. On an absolute rainbow.
They were 7 of 7 from downtown in the first half, not so much in the second half.
Lake sneaks a pass. Moores plays twister. Jackson, no. Degenhart muscles.
Shaver wants a screen.
Oh, a pass that had no window. Shaver got it there, but a whistle first. A stoppage in Boise with the Broncos up 10. It's been a good one at ExtraMile Arena. Boise State, Colorado State. Look at the Mountain West standings. Boise State comes in 1 game back of San Diego State for first in the league. They still have 2 meetings left against the Aztecs. Well, Colorado State, just so many close games. A lot of them have gone in the loss column for them.
Maybe they can turn it around. It's only halfway through, but they certainly play with gusto.
All right, Coach, let's revisit your
play
keys.
even on the boards. Colorado State doing a good job there. Stevens' brilliance. He's not been brilliant. He's just been pretty good. No sloppy turnovers. Boise State's handling the ball pretty well, except for a little minute before the half. And balanced scoring is ever present, and it is their most important thing. And 4 players in double figures, and that's fairly typical. And they're probably going to have 5.
You had to add one more key, seeing how this game has gone so far down the stretch of this one.
Well, you know, if Colorado State can keep using the zone and switch back and forth and get quality shots at the other end by driving it to the basket, that was their formula for getting back in this game.
Off the double, rotation, Shaver 3, short, Tanjay tallies a rebound.
I think Abo has to get back in this game. He was deadly in the first half, and he's been absent from the offense here, number 11.
Stevens.
Notice how he challenged the shot without jumping. As soon as you leave the floor, the guy's going to go around you.
Throws off the head of Lake. Wasn't expecting it. Turnover, Colorado State. Rice, pull up, Jay is true.
You got to challenge him at the 3, and that's how he can get in open 2. You can't let him take the open 3, there's no doubt. Look at the length of the arms on Smith. Look at this. Look at that.
Cover the entire scorer's table. Late shot clock again. Corner step back, Tanjay. Corner of the backboard. 1 second, Lake didn't realize that the shot clock doesn't reset.
That was great D. Ball fake, 1 dribble pull up. And he got it off quickly. That's what you want. And then Najee Smith's defense on that last play where he avoided fouling the 3-point shooter.
Baylor Heb.
Nico's going to go back to the press that got some dividends in the first half. The thing is, Shaver's in the game now, so it's likely to be not as effective. He's the primary ball handler on this team.
Great example of the Boise State ball movement. And they work with the shot clock under 7. Dagenhart reverse. Rice set him up.
What a left hand. Remember that floater he hit right at the half? That was left-handed. He's great with his offhand.
6 in a row for Boise State.
Trouble here.
And those arms weren't completely straight the entire time. Crowd doesn't like it, but Dagenhart gets called.
Check this pass out. Go underneath, use the rim to protect from the defense. Crowd thought that Dagenhart had the ball. I'm not sure when Cartier was playing in Division II that they had crowds like this in many places. This crowd has been awesome. The venues in the Mountain West are unreal. Sellouts, big arenas, good stuff.
15,000 last night in Albuquerque at the Pit on CBS Sports Network.
Air Force gave them a game, didn't they?
They did. No nights off in the Mountain West.
Find one right here. When you're on defensive transition, don't get your man, just get the closest man, and everybody adjusts.
Stevens, step back, wants 3, and connects. Put that one on a highlight reel. One of many plays for Isaiah Stevens.
The 2 threes that he made in overtime in that brilliant performance in the overtime victory at UNLV were step backs. He practices that like crazy with the assistant coach Ali Farouk Manesh.
So you're talking about 2 of the 3s down the stretch of that game, and you're not even talking about the half-court shot he hit to send it to overtime. Yeah, 33 points in that game. And made tons of defensive plays down the stretch. Abbo in and out. Dagenhart, right place, right time.
Pull up. He floated forward. That's when you hit the back of the rim.
Chance to go back within single digits. Head, baseline, scoop. No, gets it back. Tanjay all alone. Fires.
There are a lot of tired guys out there right now.
You can see Najee Smith in the Boise State backcourt tugging his jersey.
Yeah, when guys tried to tug his jersey to give you a signal to come out, I just ignored him. I looked the other way.
God, all of a sudden, situational blindness to that.
Yeah, Agbo is the guy here. He needs to do some things. Everybody else is tired.
Shaver, he's known as Big Shot Shave.
Look at that stoic face. No emotion. Big Shot Shaver.
Stevens has hit a number of big shots throughout his career. He says, I'm right here, not going anywhere.
You love it. You love it.
Is there 2 players in the conference who have made more big shots the last couple of years than those 2?
I don't know. Maybe Mashburn. He's starting to get into that category at New Mexico.
Shaver draws the help. Rice, Bader, fouled. And Stevens is irate. But 3 free throws for Rice coming up.
We got Isaiah Stevens, the backup. And it was challenged, but nothing but bottom. Shaver at the other end. It was challenged. Nothing but bottom.
Boise State clinging to a 10-point lead. Let's take a closer look at the plays we love, brought to you by Marco's Pizza. Najee Smith.
He can run, and he can finish. He is Mr. Energy. On the night, Najee Smith, who is now on the bench, 16 points, well above his average, and 4 boards. And his defense has been outstanding as well. Nice team camaraderie on the sideline there, as you can see. And Boise State is full of that.
Smith was a junior college transfer. He played on the AAU circuit with that guy, Max Rice. It's always good when you're on the AAU circuit with the son of a college basketball head coach. Not a bad place to be.
That's a good place to be.
A rare miss at the line for Rice. Only missed 3 free throws in 34 attempts. Remember, he was fouled behind the 3-point line before the break. Two of 3, Boise State 12-point lead. You can see it right there. Jace Whiting, the only Idaho player on the team from Idaho who's not named Rice.
Mom's the basketball coach at BYU, women.
Amber, that her team came to Boise earlier this year. Foul on the off-ball movement. Nico Medved. And he was the coach of the year in the media vote last year. Leon Rice for Boise State was the conference named coach of the year. Jace Whiting on that last foul, by the way. That is his 4th. What a blow by leads to the break. Jace Whiting. Bullseye! Stevens with the silencer.
Whiting cannot guard Stevens. Not many guys can guard Stevens, but a freshman in his first year playing college basketball, guarding a guy who's going to be in the NBA next year. Tough assignment. I mean, Whiting is up for it. He's going after him, I'll tell you that.
Stevens already 12 points in the second half.
Yeah, he's got 17, I think, now.
Shaver navigates baseline.
What a spin. What a move.
Abo pays it off.
Are you kidding me? Shaver to Abo. What a play. Abo also made that block. Shaver looks a little more excited knowing that there's only 5:08 to go in the game. And he can explode a little bit more.
Abo back to back. No.
I think it's time for Najee to get back in the game. Maybe for Abo.
Morris carves out some space. Young flies for the rebound. Shaver, no whistle, and a pretty spin.
That's the first time we've seen him use his speed in this game. He is so smart. It's hard to think about how he plays the game now.
It's interesting. You brought up the point. It's almost like he's pacing himself. He knows
Absolutely.
down the stretch. All right, 5 minutes left. I can turn it up.
Yeah. And because if he turns it up too early, you know, his injuries are going to prevent him from doing that in the end game.
Stevens. Not much on that one. Dagenhart.
Shot clock was expiring. Broncos have grab control. Look at that explosion. He did none of that in the first half.
Stevens pokes it. Dagenhart, clock down to 5, rumbles to the rim and draws the blocking foul. Gets up holding his leg. You hope Dagenhart's okay.
Boise State knows how to pass the basketball. And Abo appreciates it. Thank you very much for that pass, Marcus.
Boise State has extended their lead to 18 points late in the second half. Coming up next, our coverage of college hoops wraps. With more Mountain West, we bring you the Battle for Nevada Silver State Series between the Wolfpack and the Runnin' Rebels. Watching here on CBS Sports Network. Monday night was one of those Mountain West games that had drama to it. Late night, New Mexico, Nevada, double overtime. But Nevada got the win. First win over a ranked opponent at home since 2003.
Undefeated at home. And of course, at UNLV, it will be a war.
And that's following this one.
Blackshear at Nevada is an unbelievably good story about a guy improving over time. He's never been a double-figure scorer in his college career, and he is lighting it up this year. He's also a great passer at 6'6" and 200 and something.
Well, Colorado State, the story coming into this was their close games over the last 4. Overtime against Air Force. Overtime against UNLV. Overtime against San Diego State. And a 1-point loss in regulation, the border war against Wyoming. This one not fitting that same script as Dagenhart commits the foul.
I asked Nico Medved if he had ever, as a coach, been through 3 overtime games in a row like that, and he couldn't recall that he had been. And you know, the one that he emphasized that really took a lot out of them was the San Diego State. You know, he was so proud of how well they played against, I think, what most people feel is the best team in the league. And you know, it just took a lot out of them. And the trip up to Wyoming, it's always tough, but losing by 1 there, you know, it's discouraging. It's frustrating. But I think you said it earlier, these kids, They're persistent. They play hard. They listen. They go after it. They play as a team. I mean, look, it's hard to come in. Boise's won, what, 8 or 9 straight games here. So this is a tough place to play.
Dropped their home opener to South Dakota State. Since then, 9-0 at home is Boise State. Stevens was that hero in that win during that close game stretch against UNLV. Chisels his way inside and will head to the line. Alon Shaver.
Well, Isaiah Stevens, we've been singing his praises, and he certainly deserves it. Right here, he just wanted the shot. And Marcus gets him with the body. But Isaiah Stevens, #1 all-time assists, Colorado State, #4 all-time scoring, Colorado State. And he has just had a remarkable career.
Past Ryan Yoder on the all-time Colorado State assist leaderboard. In the last game against Wyoming, he said Stevens the top achievement he's ever had individually. Stevens out, Tavy Jackson comes in. Jackson the only reserve in for either team. By the way, Boise State had a 3 at about the 6-minute mark with Jace Whiting. Degenhardt, beautiful pick and roll. Shaver set it up.
Oh man, what a pass.
Going back to that Whiting 3 though, that was the first and only bench points that Boise State had this game. They had 0 bench points in their last game against Fresno State.
Yep. And they're winning. It's not a sin to have 0 bench points. Just depends on what kind of team you have.
Tie up stays with Colorado State.
Look at this pass. Threads it between 2 guys. And I'm starting to think Degenhardt is better with his left hand than he is with his right hand.
Pretty good with both.
Yeah, but he rarely shoots it. I mean, I don't know if they've done metrics on this, but I wonder how many shots he takes with his left versus his right. I guess it depends on the situation, obviously, right, where the defense is. But he missed a jump hook right-handed 2 possessions ago. And then that one he went in left-handed. He could have shot either hand that one.
Remember that floater to end the first half was with the left hand?
Yeah.
Tavy Jackson. Colorado State really wants to get him going. Nico Medved said he's the most important player that Colorado State has down the stretch. He's a freshman with upside. Kind of stretch towards the end of the non-conference. He was producing off the bench.
Yeah, and he's been injured also. Look at this. I mean, he did not do that once in the first half. In the last 5 minutes, he's done it 4 times.
Does that remind you of anybody? Just point guard could just like turn it up.
It's very unusual. I mean, in the NBA, you see that a lot, you know, in the fourth quarter. But in college basketball, it's very unusual. And I mean, he has adjusted his game superbly by playing through these various injuries that he's had.
1 minute remaining in the game. 1 minute.
Shaver Degenhardt connection has been on full display late in the second half.
How about those 2 together, huh?
Jalen Lake misses. Abo tips. Colorado State gets another possession, but Boise State tally another win within the conference. Smith takes it away. Bryce gets the instructions from his dad on the sideline to hold off. Gets the foul, and this crowd has the microphone. Boise State has won 10 in a row at home. They dominate this game against Colorado State 80-59. A look at the updated Mountain West standings. Boise State now just a half game back of San Diego State.
It's going to be a run with those top 4 teams, Nevada and New Mexico as well, and Utah State even some. They're still there. But those top 4 in the latest PALM ratings are in the NCAA tournament.
10 straight home wins for Boise State. They've won 7 of 8 overall. Trying to get the Mountain West title for the 2nd straight year. Fun one at ExtraMile Arena for Bob Wenzel and our entire CBS Sports crew. I'm Chris Lewis. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Let's go to the studio. Brent Stover, Chris Walker, John Rothstein, Seth Davis standing by in New York. Good night from Boise.